Your body makes its own anti-aging oil every single day, a molecule that seals moisture into your cells and keeps them from breaking down. But after 25, your production drops and never recovers. The beauty industry charges billions to replace what you lost. Meanwhile, a bright orange berry growing wild across the mountains of Asia contains more of this exact molecule than anything on a shelf. And nobody in skincare wants you to find out why. Most people have never heard of it. They know omega-3 because the fish oil industry spent decades making sure everyone did. They know omega-6 because nutritionists mention it in every podcast and every article. But omega-7 has no marketing team, no celebrity face on the bottle, no dedicated shelf in any supplement aisle in the country. And yet this single fatty acid is woven into the living architecture of your skin. It sits inside your cell membranes. It keeps them fluid. It locks moisture in. It helps damaged cells regenerate from the inside out. Picture a brick wall where the mortar between every brick is soft and flexible and constantly repairing itself. That mortar is omega-7. Take it away and the bricks start to separate. Moisture escapes through the cracks. The wall crumbles one section at a time. That is exactly what is happening inside your skin right now, and it has been happening since you were about 25 years old. After your mid-20s, your body starts producing less sebum every single year. The omega-7 content falls with it. By the time you reach your 40s and 50s, your skin is measurably drier than it was even a decade earlier. The barrier that once held everything together has been thinning quietly beneath the surface for years. Wrinkles are not just a product of collagen loss. They form because the fatty layer that once kept your skin sealed and supple has been slowly vanishing. Most people look in the mirror and accept this as the natural cost of getting older. They buy a moisturizer, they move on. They never ask what their skin actually lost or whether it was possible to get it back. The skincare industry knows exactly what is happening underneath your surface. They understand omega-7 better than most dermatologists will ever explain to their patients. The global market built around the single plant that produces the highest concentration of this fatty acid on Earth is climbing toward $2 billion. Analysts expect it to nearly double before the end of the decade. Walk into any high-end beauty store in Seoul or Tokyo or Manhattan and you will find serums and creams built around extracts from this one plant. Companies isolate the active compounds. They stabilize them in proprietary blends. They put them in small, elegant jars and charge $40 to $80 a unit. At no point on any label do they tell you where the compound comes from. They never mention that the source grows in a container on a patio for the price of a single sapling from a nursery catalog. To understand why one plant can do what 3,000 skincare products only attempt, you need to go back about 2,300 years to ancient Greece and to a group of horses that were sent away to die. The name of this plant translates from ancient Greek to shining horse. Greek soldiers released old and injured horses into the wild, expecting them to perish in the hills. The animals disappeared into the distance. Weeks later, they returned. Their coats were thick and gleaming. Their strength had come back. The soldiers tracked the horses to dense thickets of small, bright orange berries growing wild on the mountain slopes. The plant was Hippophae rhamnoides. The rest of the world calls it sea buckthorn. What those horses had stumbled onto was the most nutritionally dense berry on Earth. Sea buckthorn berries contain over 190 bioactive compounds, vitamins C, E, K, and a full sweep of the B vitamins, flavonoids, carotenoids, 12 amino acids, and the fatty acid profile that makes the skincare industry pay very close attention. Omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, and omega-7, a fatty acid so rare in the plant world that sea buckthorn is essentially its only meaningful source. Omega-7 is a highly prized ingredient in these serums. It helps support the skin's moisture barrier, accelerates wound healing, and reduces inflammation at the cellular level. It is why the horses came back from the hills with coats that shone. It is why the Soviet space program included sea buckthorn in the diet of their cosmonauts. It is why traditional Tibetan and Mongolian medicine has used this plant for skin, digestion, and recovery for centuries before any laboratory confirmed what healers already knew. The berry is small and bright and almost unbearably tart. The oil pressed from its seeds is pale yellow. The oil pressed from its pulp is a deep, vivid orange. That orange oil is what stains the formulas and the price tags of the products that never mention where they came from. The plant knew what it was doing long before the industry discovered it. That story is over 2,000 years old, but it was far from the last time this berry changed the course of events. Centuries later, Genghis Khan fed it to his armies during brutal campaigns across the steppe. His soldiers and their horses ate the berries for stamina and recovery while crossing some of the most punishing terrain on Earth. Mongol warriors rode thousands of miles through frozen landscapes, and this small orange fruit was part of what kept them standing. In Tibet, the plant was recorded in the medical classic Rgud BZ as early as the 8th century. Tibetan physicians called it the blood of the king's heart. They prescribed it for healing the lungs and throat, and for strengthening the body against the crushing cold of the Himalayan plateau. In China, it has been a foundation of traditional medicine for over 1,000 years. In India, Ayurvedic practitioners used preparations from the same berry for skin healing and digestive strength long before any modern laboratory understood the chemistry behind it. 5 civilizations across 2,000 years, Greeks, Mongols, Tibetans, Chinese, Indians, all of them arrived at the same conclusion independently, and the answer grew wild on mountainsides and coastlines where nobody needed to manufacture it in a factory. Now here is what is actually inside this berry and why the beauty industry built an empire around it without ever wanting you to see the whole picture. Sea buckthorn oil contains over 190 bioactive compounds, vitamins, amino acids, carotenoids, flavonoids, and a combination of omega fatty acids that almost no other plant on Earth can match. It is one of the only known plant sources that delivers all 4 omega fatty acids at the same time. Omega-3, Omega-6, Omega-7, Omega-9, all from a single berry smaller than a marble. But the compound that matters most for your skin is Omega-7. The pulp oil of this berry contains a high concentration of palmitoleic acid, an omega-7 fatty acid found naturally in human sebum, which helps keep the skin hydrated. No other commonly available plant comes close to this concentration. This is not a synthetic replacement. It is not a laboratory approximation. It is the exact same molecule your body has been making since the day you were born. And the vitamin C content is extraordinary. 100 grams of sea buckthorn berries delivers roughly 400 milligrams of vitamin C. Oranges contain about 53 milligrams in the same weight. That vitamin C feeds directly into collagen synthesis. It powers the enzyme reaction that builds the collagen structure in your dermis. Meanwhile, the carotenoids and tocopherols act as antioxidant shields that protect your skin cells from UV radiation and pollution every single day. When researchers tested palmitoleic acid on human skin, the results were clear. In a 12-week, placebo-controlled trial, participants who received omega-7 showed significant improvements in skin hydration and a measurable reduction in moisture loss through the skin surface. Their barrier held water better. Their skin recovered its ability to seal itself. The group that received the placebo showed no such change. But here is what truly sets omega-7 apart from every other fatty acid on the supplement shelf. Scientists describe it as skin native. It is not a foreign substance being introduced from outside. It already exists in your living epidermis. When you replenish it, the molecule integrates directly into your skin's own lipid structure. It does not sit on the surface like a cream waiting to evaporate after an hour. It becomes part of the wall again. It fills the gaps that time and age and years of declining sebum production quietly left behind. Picture that brick wall one more time. Most creams paint the outside. They smooth the surface for a few hours and then they fade. Omega-7 goes back into the mortar and rebuilds it from within. That is a fundamentally different kind of repair. And that is precisely why the cosmetics industry would rather sell you a $40 jar of extract than ever point you toward a plant that costs less and produces for decades. The industry already knows this berry is the future of skincare. In June of 2025, one of the largest chemical companies in Europe unveiled a new organic certified sea buckthorn oil formulated specifically for premium cosmetic use. Manufacturers worldwide are pouring money into advanced extraction methods designed to isolate specific compounds from the berries and leaves. More than 3,200 skincare products globally now include sea buckthorn in some form. The market segment focused on fighting aging and boosting hydration alone exceeds $600 million. They extract the compound, they patent the blend, they set the price, and they count on you never discovering that the whole plant grows in a pot for almost nothing. So now you know what this plant is. You know what it does inside your skin at the deepest level. You know who profits from keeping it in a laboratory instead of in a garden. The only question left is whether you can actually grow it yourself. The answer is yes, and it is far simpler than the industry wants you to believe. Sea buckthorn is one of the toughest plants on the planet. It evolved on the windswept coastlines of northern Europe, the frozen mountain ranges of Central Asia, the Himalayan plateau, and the barren steppes of Siberia. It survives where almost nothing else will. It tolerates drought, salt spray, coastal wind, poor soil, and temperatures as low as -40 degrees. It is hardy in zones 3 through 7, which covers the vast majority of the United States from Montana to Massachusetts and nearly everywhere in between. And it fixes its own nitrogen in the soil, which means it actually improves the ground it grows in rather than depleting it. This plant has been surviving on Earth for roughly 70 million years. Your patio is a vacation for it. To grow sea buckthorn at home, you need a container at least 20 to 25 gallons in size with good drainage holes at the bottom. You also need to understand one simple biological detail that makes this plant different from most fruit producers. Sea buckthorn is dioecious. That means the male and female flowers grow on separate plants. You need at least one of each to produce berries. One healthy male can pollinate several females from just a short distance away. For a container garden on a porch or patio, one male and 1 or 2 females will produce more than enough fruit for daily use. Choose a dwarf or compact variety to keep things manageable. A cultivar called Chuiskaya is popular among home growers because it stays relatively small and produces reliably heavy crops year after year. Fill your containers with sandy, well-drained soil. This plant does not want rich, heavy potting mix. It wants lean, gritty soil that drains quickly. Think about the Rocky Mountain slopes and coastal sand dunes where it evolved, and give it something close to that. Full sun, regular watering but never standing water around the roots, a thin layer of compost once each spring, and the plant will ask for nothing else. Prune it once a year to control height and encourage bushy, productive growth. Without trimming, sea buckthorn can grow tall quickly, but in a container with an annual prune, it stays compact and manageable for years. By the second or third growing season, your female plants will be covered with dense clusters of bright orange berries, packed so tightly against the branches they look like someone painted them on. Harvesting is the one honest challenge. The berries are small and soft, and they grow on thorny branches that do not make the job easy. Commercial farms struggle with this, and it is one reason the price of sea buckthorn products stays as high as it does. But home gardeners have a trick that has been passed down for generations across Russia and Scandinavia. Wait for the first hard frost of autumn. Cut the branches that are loaded with berries, place them in a bag, and freeze them completely solid. Once frozen, the berries pop off the branch cleanly when you shake or gently comb them loose. No mess, no thorn wounds, a clean harvest in minutes. Juice the berries raw. They taste tart and bright like a cross between tangerine and passion fruit, with a warmth that lingers. Blend them into smoothies, cook them down into jam or syrup the way families across Finland, Siberia, and Mongolia have done for centuries. Dry them in batches and steep them as tea on cold winter mornings. Juice the berries raw to enjoy their vitamins, or look to professionally extracted oils to experience the Omega-7 benefits beauty brands use. Even the leaves can be brewed into a mild, tangy herbal tea with their own active compounds. Russian cosmonauts carried sea buckthorn berries into orbit as a food supplement aboard the space station. If it was good enough for astronauts circling the Earth, it is good enough for your morning routine. Now picture what you have built. A compact shrub in a large pot on your sunniest patio corner. Bright silvery green leaves catching the light in summer. Dense clusters of vivid orange berries ripening in the cool air of autumn. A plant that fixes its own nitrogen, shrugs off drought and wind and neglect, and produces harvest after harvest for 20 years or more. Berries for juice and oil, leaves for tea, pruned branches composted back into the soil, a closed loop that feeds itself, no monthly subscription, no reorder reminders, no plastic bottles piling up under the bathroom sink. Think back to where we started. Your skin is losing its most important fatty acid every single year. Omega-7, the compound that keeps your cell membranes fluid, your moisture locked inside, and your barrier intact. The skincare industry understands this better than you do. They extract it from one plant. They bottle it. They brand it. They sell it at $40 to $80 a jar. 3,200 products on the global market and climbing. A $2 billion industry built entirely on a berry that grows wild from the Himalayas to the coast of Norway. Across the highlands of Tibet, the frozen steppes of Mongolia, the birch forests of Finland, and the mountain villages of Nepal, families have been harvesting these berries for over 1,000 years. They did not need a placebo-controlled trial to know their skin stayed strong through brutal winters. They did not need a brand name or a barcode or an elegant glass jar with a dropper cap. They picked the berries when the frost came. They pressed them, they dried them, they brewed the leaves, and they passed this knowledge forward through generations of daughters and granddaughters who never once paid a subscription fee for the privilege of healthy skin. You have that knowledge now. The plant does not care about your zip code. It does not care about your income or your age or your skin type. It cares about sunlight and drainage and a pot big enough to hold its roots. Give it that, and it will give you what no skincare company on earth can sell. A source of Omega-7 that rebuilds itself every season, costs nothing after the first planting, and has been proving itself for longer than any brand has existed. One plant, one pot, thousands of years of proof. And the only reason you are hearing about this now is that nobody profits when you grow the answer yourself. And do not forget, if you want to grow the same plants that have been rooted in history since biblical times, Eden's Harvest has got you covered. Go show them some love.